Hello everyone, I am here with a new process video. As you can see, I've got a 6x12 happening. This is obviously from Toronto, and it's part of my larger Canada album, but I haven't made it out of Toronto yet. I'm on day 2, so we'll get there. And this one is a back-to-back. You can kind of see I have it laid out the way that I wanted. I might move some things around, but I think this is the configuration I'm going to do. So I have part of a pocket here. This is a 4x6, so I need to have something behind there and then embellish, maybe journal, I don't know. And then on this side, I cut down this photo because I wanted it to not be a full 4x6. I've already got one, and I wanted to be able to do a little bit something more interesting with the background. And then I have these already filled. Now you will notice I printed this photo at home as an extra and didn't realize that I had left the white border setting on when I did it. I don't want to reprint it, so it isn't exactly what I planned, but I don't think it looks bad, so I'm going to leave it. For this side, since these are back to back, yes, the pictures go together, but you're not going to see them at the same time, so I feel like I can kind of do whatever I want on each side. So for this one, I think I'm actually going to go with the pink to add some embellishments, maybe the background here in a subtle way, but to bring that out, because otherwise everything is very drab. It's very gray, kind of brown. It was a very overcast day, so not a lot of sunlight hitting here. So I need to liven it up with something. And then also, these letters change with how they're lit. Several of the photos I got, you can see like it was a light pink. On the other side, it's more clear on the one that's on the bottom, so not as much tint to it. But since I've got a lighter pink here, as well as this darker one, I think I'm going to embrace the pink. I went into just my generic like 4x6s that I keep on my desk, and most of them are just, you know, paper that looks like this. They've maybe got a subtle pattern on it, but they were pieces I cut from something else, something I had left from a kit like this one. I know this was a kit I had from Club Scrap, I believe, years ago. Still haven't used it. So I pulled those out to see what I liked. This gives you an idea of how old this one is. I think this was just a pattern piece of paper I had, but I rounded the corners. I'm pretty sure it didn't come like that, but I rounded the corners. So this was way back in the early days of Project Life, and I still have this. And actually the color works fairly well, but I like this pattern better. It's just a little bit more subtle. You definitely notice more of the dots here than you do here. So I think I'm going to go with this one. And I probably will matte on gray or white too, I think, or just put strips or something there, because I want to break up the brightness of that pink. But then it allows me to be able to embellish here with some other pink things. And I think that's a great option to have for this. So I decided to pull out all of my acrylic pieces that I have that are a little bit more generic. Some of them can be used for travel, but these here are more generic. My travel ones I keep in a separate place. I have so many of these piling up. Like, I need to use them, and I honestly don't even remember what's all in here and what colors they are, so I need to look through them. I just noticed, so this is June. I tend to keep my month ones together, so not sure how that got misplaced. But I do have one for May, and this was in May. So this is a reminder actually to pull this out. I'm just going to put that in my Canada bin. I'm not going to use it here, but I can put it in my Canada bin. But I have some other ones in here. Almost all the months represented, so I can use those on other projects, which is great. But I don't need those for now. I want to look through here, and then I have also all these like random acrylic pieces and wood veneer. I might find something in there. I'm just really trying to be on a mission, like, to use up this stuff that's been sitting around for a long time. So in those containers of stuff, I found these little acrylic pieces that are the same bright pink and then blue. And I'm just going to move these over. I actually think I'm going to use these on the other side if I can come up with something clever, because I have pink and blue. That's what we're wearing. And we both wear glasses, so it works. And I was thinking maybe I could say something like, look around, or look at this, or I don't know, something like that. But otherwise, again, these are kind of so odd. Like, what else am I going to use these for? So I'm going to see if I can work those in somehow. For this photo down here, I had talked about maybe matting it on white. I actually think I'm just going to use this thin gray washi that I have. I don't use it a whole lot. You can see I have pretty much the whole roll here, but it's perfect given how narrow it is, because that lets me have the definition I want, but I still have a good chunk of space where I could add a little journaling spot. I can embellish. I can do whatever I want, basically. I've put on the washi there, and this is even more opaque than I thought. You can see quite a bit of the paper through it, but actually it's okay. It still gives the definition that I want, so that's okay. And it looks like that. So it definitely matches what's happening here. It's not like it's so bold that it stands out and looks weird, so I'll take it. So I have grabbed out my bag of pink pieces of ephemera and embellishments here, and I'm going to just see, is there anything in there that might look good on the photo up here and even here that I could layer along with some other colors, but I'm going to start with this. So these are a bunch of things that I found that might work, that I could possibly incorporate in here. Something like this is quite large. I don't know that it would work on this page, but maybe on the other side, I'm not sure. But I tried to just pull some things that might make it interesting, or things that I don't know how else I'm going to use. Like this. I believe I mentioned in a different video, what is with all the scooters? Like, they seem to be a popular embellishment lately, and we don't see a lot of scooters in the US. If I'm doing European stuff, yes, but not at home, not so much. So I have to find like random ways to use them. So maybe I can work that in somehow. We'll see. I decided to cut apart these tickets. They were together, and I just want this one, the one that says free time. It's the darker pink. So I'm going to keep that one. This one I'll move over here. And I'm also grabbing out my black, white, and gray ephemera piece things and embellishments so that I can try to match with this, and I'm going to layer something together for this area. I've decided to layer these two items. I've got this destination tag here, and then this can overlap like so. And then I think I want to find a black and white phrase that I can make my third thing here somehow, or I could possibly stamp, because I don't have any stamps out here, but I could do it. But then that kind of brings in all of the colors I've got going on, and I think it would make a nice color mix. And then I forgot to point out, I'm going to use this little piece here that says hi, just up in the corner, like, hey Toronto, here we are, start of our day kind of a thing. So I at least have those pieces settled. And then here I could use like a black mini brad. I do think I have some available. Otherwise I have these, and I could just put one right there if I don't want to actually use a brad. So I wrote on here the name of the square where we were. I have this ready. I decided to go with the black rhinestone because frankly I'm being lazy. I didn't want to have to grab out my container that has all the brads and bring it over here. This was readily available, so I used it. I went into my blue phrases because I thought, hey, I've got kind of this blue-gray happening in the background here. Would that work? I think it will. Now, interestingly, the writing on here is brown, but there is brown happening too. I think it'll be fine. I actually like the mix of all of those together. It just makes it pop more. So I'm going to layer these on there, and then I think this side is done. All right, so here we have this side done. This is how I chose to do the layering on this card. I'm very happy with that. So this side is done, and I'm already like past 8 minutes in the video. So I think I'm going to try to put this side together quite quickly so it doesn't get too long. For this back side here, I've decided for this pocket, I'm just going to use a plain gray, and then it allows me to work in my color more. I've taken the backings off of these so they are ready to go. I can get those on the card, and I just have to figure out, like, do I want to use letter stickers or a phrase strip or what to have that phrase that says look around. I don't think I have a stamp set that says that, so I think I'm going to have to make it myself. I was having a hard time deciding, like, what could I layer on here where I could do the phrase look around plus use these. And originally I thought black letters. Now I think white, and I think I need to layer it on a darker gray. It'll still stand out. I think this is probably the better choice. It matches really well with the buildings and this base here. So I can layer that, cut it to the size I want, and then do look around, and then also layer these on the photo to bring in the color. And then down here, I have, whoops, this little phrase that just says documented, but it's in that bright pink. I think I'm just gonna stick it there and call that one good. I don't think it needs anything else. So now I just need to layer this all together. I have this ready to go. This is already on here. I used all white letters here from Kelly Perky because look how many I have. I have tons. I might as well use them. So I did that. Those are all adhered on there, and now I just need to get these into place, and I think I'm going to do it something like that so that it overlaps the end. That's why I left extra space there. And then I'm debating if I want to do like a little ink splattering or something, because this feels blank over here, but we'll see. When I put this all together, I did decide to do a little ink splattering here, and I used my Dina Wakley gloss spray. And I never know how white's going to turn out because sometimes it gets very opaque. Like there's a tiny little dot here where that happened. There wasn't enough there really to make it show up very well, but the rest of these, I think, this one's kind of half and half. I think the rest of these will be okay when they dry, so I'm not going to put on more. And I think that's just enough for how that will look. And then I'm just contemplating, like, do I need something here? I have this little arrow. I could just put it right down there to bring in more of that pink, because otherwise I feel like there's a lot happening on the left, nothing on the right. So I may do that. I did decide to add that on there, and I think that's just enough, and it does move the eye across the page, which is great. This is still not completely dry, so I'm just going to let it sit there, but both sides are done, which feels awesome. So here's another layout that's complete for Canada. Thanks for watching.